Hey, it's my birthday. Oh, my aunt is eating a slice of Italian cake after having a cheeseburger. So things are interesting. They're going on and continually going on. Being productive with John, fixing up this stuff for him, and running errands for him. And born to hunt. What am I hunting? Love's co-creation. So, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Albert Pike, but let's see. If you go take a look for him, he almost looks like me. Uh-oh. Yeah. Let's see. Library. A little bit of so there's a little kerfuffle up in the upper atmosphere, and we're going to have another little freezing bubble drop down onto the United States, and it's going to be such a big bubble it'll probably reach Europe. So it'll be kind of towards the end of next week. We may get a big snowstorm where I am this Sunday, Monday, and then it'll start to get colder and colder, and then probably some more snow up there in the northern parts of the United States. Everything above, what's that? Not Kentucky, but it's even further, a little south, where Dorothy was. Kansas. It'll be ridiculously cold and ridiculously snowy, like feet of snow. Right? So, I was listening to this show this morning.
Did you know that millions of American seniors struggle with expensive?
I don't care. I'm one of those seniors, and everyone is just playing us, But, skip that. Okay.
For 17 years, I served as Assistant Deputy General at the Department of Justice. I worked essentially as the Chief Operating Officer. In those years, I developed a very close relationship with the Deputy Attorney General, who in many private discussions disclosed highly top-secret information that really shook me to the core. This intel related to the existence of a secret society you may know as the Illuminati, an organization comprised of the wealthiest 1% on the planet. And for over 300 years, they have been secretly controlling all aspects of human activity for the sole purpose of serving their own hidden agenda to one day rule the planet as a single world government. The second alarming revelation by this Deputy Attorney General was the coexistence of an extraterrestrial race that has been on Earth practically since the beginning, monitoring the human condition and orchestrating their own dark and sinister agenda. Now, the really interesting aspect of all of this is that this alien race formed a unified pact with the Illuminati around the 1940s, the purpose of which was to maneuver mankind's path through a deplorable stage of servitude. What the 1% got out of that deal is absolute immunity, They're able to live out their lives as they please while the rest of humanity faces a cold act of genocide.
Oh, well, it's like you've heard that before. And anything you see on YouTube, you have to take with a grain of salt, right? Because it's, I forgot what they call it, but they let out this kind of information to get you thinking one way, and so you think another way, right? But good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. I am your sensei. Saluton Tones. Happy birthday, Sensei. Yep. And, every moment, and the title, right? It's my birthday. Every moment, right? So born again, right? And, because I was born again, 1949. No, you got to be born again. That door opens. Jesus and God are standing at the doorway holding the door open. We got to walk through it every moment of our life. Conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, right? Conscious awareness I am, conscious awareness I am, conscious awareness I am, right? So I basically had I left the hill to go do shopping for John and pick up things that we're working on. Just getting out of there. And my car is like me, old and
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yes, yes, yes. And so I basically got up the hill, and my car has been cranky, right? It sounds like the wheels are about to fall off. But it took me Thursday or Wednesday to get all that stuff together. I had to go to 4 different auto shops to get 4 different opinions and then have me go, which one is it? Or how should I get it fixed? I went back to people who should have fixed it in the first place. And then I showed them what it was, and they took care of it. And I went to the guy super in charge, who ran the garage. And that's kind of what you have to do. You have to go to the person who's most competent and have them take care of what you need, right? And that's whether it's, God is where I go first, then Jesus, and then, the middle management, And so my doctors, my lawyers, I go to, my lawyer is Supreme Court judge of the state, so that's the kind of lawyer you want at all. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Bob. It's my birthday. Every second of the moment that I'm here, right? Because I'm being born every second I'm being reborn, because I get a new chance to be better, do my best, right? And I'd love to hear from you. The dudeawake42 at Gmail. Go ahead, email me. I wish I could somehow connect all you of the cadre together, but somehow it doesn't seem to work. But you communicate with each other when we have the chat, so that's good, right? And do more of that, because that's the shamanic essence of this show, bringing people together, right? So, and if you want to throw something onto the PayPal, that's really great. Just mention, the dude awake 42 at Gmail, and I have to thank 2 or 3 of you since Thanksgiving has dropped a few gifts, because that's what they are. I'm not charging for this. There is no, and for $19.95 you get 2 wow bobs. No, you get the multi-dimensional wow bob if you have the secret Whoopi membership of $1 zillion. And I was already doing that, and that got me into trouble. That's when I died in 2014. I was working for, and it's not, it's all right. When I started working for the, desperate wars for the corporate world, for the Illuminati, what I call it the hidden hand, because whatever they call themselves, it's not the Illuminati. Like that was like one heck of a but go look at that story, that I played. And let's see if I can. That's the channel is. What is the channel? Final conspiracy, aliens and Illuminati. Right? Let's see. New benefit. No, I don't want no new benefit. I want to know who the frack you guys are. I guess it's a movie. A final conspiracy, aliens and the Illuminati. Full movie. Encyclopedia Britannica, Illuminati, designation, the use of 15th century soon by other applied various groups, right? Let's see. Britannica. What does the name Illuminati refer to? Illuminati, plural of the Latin word illuminus, meaning to enlighten. It's a name that has been in use since the 15th century and has been applied to various groups since the members of these groups claim to be usually enlightened with the light attributed to a higher source of exalted conditions of human intelligence. I love it when people say, I'm enlightened. I love to see that. Albert Pike is the guy who made the modern version of this kind of in the 17th century, right? And it was a boys' club. It was a version of the Masonic order. He was a Scottish rite, right? And our founding fathers were all members, right? So, but those guys were just, again, anyone that hits the top 40 is just a poster entity. 12 minutes and 22 seconds. I love that. Emmett, good to see you. According to the Chinese zodiac, you are a water rabbit. Yep, that's me. I'm also a dragon, and a few other things. A cheeky monkey. Oh my God! Because when you look at astrology, it's like other, Western astrology. It's not just one thing; it's a lot of different things. You got all these different lines, even in Chinese astrology, and we don't understand it. We don't understand the Chinese, right? And we don't really understand what China's about. And whenever you have a character like Xi, he's again a poster boy. Again, you have to realize all these things have been placed in position, meaning the what I call the hidden table has been in charge. You go see the John Wick movies. That's a good example of the hidden table and all the above, right? And it's a business plan, right? And so this thing, the Illuminati and the aliens. I mean, it's again, I don't believe anything, and you shouldn't believe me. I'm just your Sensei Al Bob, being your griot, telling you a story, So, alien stories, right? So I've seen a lot of aliens, when I was 4 years old, and I was in my parents' house in Long Island, right? And they lived in this town called Freeport. Where my grandfather had two big barbershops, one in New York City in the Waldorf Astoria, right? Where he was J.P. Morgan's man. And he had this other one in Freeport, because Freeport and Glencoe were the two big cities of New York City. And Freeport was just that. Freeport is where the pirates hung out, right? And so you don't know this, but Hollywood started in Long Island because there were some air bases after World War I kind of went defunct, and they went and started making movies because all the actors were either in Broadway or vaudeville, right? So that's why they did it in Long Island. So these big, gigantic buildings with lots of light, and and they shot movies there. And so the original silent films, from 1910 to 30, when they kind of went to New York, to California in the late 20s, early 30s, right? That's when Hollywood. And what is Hollywood? Every magic wand is made out of the Hollywood, out of the Holly branch, right? So it's magic. I mean, occult magic, basically. And because it's telling you a story like I do, as a griot, but in a visual way, with all these things that really, grab a hold of your internal psyche, visually, right through your eyeball into your cerebral cortex, right into your ear, right into your cerebral cortex. So it's a MK Ultra device, basically, to get everyone riled up to do exactly what they want you to do. So, let's see. February, birthday boy. All month long. Yeah, baby. I mean, all 360. My birthday is 365, 24/7. However many seconds that is. Every second, every moment is my birthday. I'm reborn in love's co-creation. That's it. It's the only way I roll, right? Yes, I'm a moron 40% of the time. I can be impatient. I can stress out, but I'm doing a lot better than I did when I first popped out. I mean, from 0 to 8, I was like a little, just a sweetie pie, Puddinhead character actor, right?
Turkey and cheese, ham and cheese.
Oh man, you doing good? Yeah, I'm breathing.
Cheese, chicken.
Can I pay you, Megan? Yeah. Well, so it's before the crowd shows up. I'm not like I'm running out of here.
Oh,
Whoops.
So I didn't know y'all had been scheduled for this. And I saw the thing a couple days ago for Lisa.
very worried there. All that was been out of the call. I'm glad they worked it out. It's been here so long. All my customers are in this area. It would be a hassle for them to travel as well. Oh my gosh. Are they coming up here? Oh, yeah, mine's not good either. Remember that. Probably a few minutes to lunch.
I told her I was getting decaf coffee.
Oh, well, they're brewing some.
Right.
It is to make them fresh.
Cream.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to tell
You're
them?
doing decaf too? The water? Okay.
Hey, sweetie, you can take that and keep the change.
Okay, thank you.
I always like to take care of business first.
At least a couple of
So I'm gonna leave in a few minutes, but I'll tell you one little story. So there I was, from birth till 8, I was with my grandma, usually in her apartment in Harlem, but she also had a house in Freeport. Because my grandfather had a barbershop right in the big building, J.P. Morgan built. His bank was there, right on Sunrise Highway and Long Island Railroad, big building, and right downstairs was, the storefronts, and the big one was right at and his barbershop was like a pyramid, right? And all the rich guys who were going off to work would show up there and get a shave first, right? And they all had their mugs, right? up on the thing, and I used to crawl up there and grab the bugs, and the guys would give me a nickel. So, and at the end of the day, in 1950, whatever it was, I would come out of there with somewhere between $3 and $5 in quarters, right? And yes, they gave me quarters, not nickels. And so, or maybe nickel, whatever they gave me. But I would have $3 to $5, which at that time for a kid of like 6 was not bad. So anyway, and I would get up and go with Grandpa to work, and Grandma would make us a nice little breakfast to go off, and I would have a little cup of coffee, but Grandpa'd have his nice big, and anyway, long story. Right. So I was, and every now and then Grandma would drop me off with my mom, right, and I would hang with my mom, and she was just down the street, in Freeport, just around, about 3 blocks, right, and so I was 4 years old, and when I was 6 months old, first thing I ever did was, I stuck a knife into the electric socket, and I was just getting a nice little electricity was talking to me, right? And my sister ratted me, "Malby, Pluggy Boom Boom." I mean, that was my, nickname, Pluggy Boom Boom, because I was always blowing stuff up electrically. And my mom came running in and saw me, so she came over and she leaned down and put her hand on the, iron radiator and grabbed me. And so she was really grounded, not me. I was a floating ground. She was like really grounded. So she got thrown across the room, smashed into her coffee table, and broke her arm. And so, from that point on, she kind of, if I was around, she always kept me in something, so I couldn't get out. So she was hanging up the laundry, and she had me in the laundry basket, right? And I couldn't quite get out of it, right? So I was, there, and it was a beautiful spring morning. It was warm, it was probably in the 60s, right? And it was probably about 10 a.m. and the sun was just high enough, and it was coming through the trees, and everything was pretty. And I was sitting there, and the ants were like crawling up my leg, and I was like, "Oh, what are these things?" Oh, instead of like, I was like, "Oh, hello, what is your name?" Right? And all I could hear was click, 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 right? And so I said, Morse code. And so all of a sudden, it was like snowing. And I look up, and my mom's got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, and her ash is about that long. It's just like, coming down and covering me. And, so ants are talking to me. I'm being covered by my mom's, chain smoked cigarette ash. And all of a sudden, I hear a scream. And at the side of my eye, there is this like George Jetson car, but not. But really something, right? And super reflective. So it didn't have wheels. It wasn't even, land. It was a space. I was at a point where I could see a space on it. It was just there. It wasn't like bobbing. It was just there, right? And out of it walked 6 foot, really tall, not a human being, but a gigantic ant, right? And I looked up at my mom, and she was like, just froze, right? And I looked at the ant, and he was right there, and his reflection was in his shiny whatever that was. And he kind of walked over to me, and I heard inside of me. So my brethren have told me that I should talk to you, that you are not like the rest of the mud puppets. Like, who's he talking to? And I don't, he doesn't have a mouth even, I'm just hearing it. And he said, "You are a lucky bastard, and all the rest are incarcerated. They're all in jail. And you, not so much. I'm going to keep an eye on you. I like you. You're all right." And all of a sudden, the ants were no longer crawling on me, And the sun was no longer there. It was like over there. And my mom was screaming. And she just grabbed me and ran into the house and locked the doors and went over and started, right? And smoking 5 cigarettes at once. And just like, right. And my brothers and sisters were coming home from school and the door's locked. The door's never locked. And they're like, hey, Mom, open up the door, And they don't. So they go over to Mrs. Warner's house, my mom's drinking buddy. And she comes, Wilma, are you okay? Anyway, so that was my first encounter that I can remember. And so they've been here, and I've had hundreds of others, right? And I've had, and most of them aren't as interesting as that one. And I've met them all, the Greys, the tall Greys, the short Greys, the Nordics, you name it, I've met them. And what's truly interesting, when I was at the UN, that's when I met most of them in a kind of social meeting, right? With the UN. Right? And Dirk Dortch, I met Dirk Dortch at the UN. So, that's kind of where it's at. And so, yeah, like everybody else, there's good, bad, and indifferent, right? And because the Great Maker started the ball rolling, and we don't even know what the Great Maker is, what it is. I mean, we see it in the image on mythology. It's us. It's our Father, right? No, it's not some guy sitting on gold throne shitting on everybody. No, sorry, it's not that. So, I got to run off and do some more stuff. There's 4 of you there, so I'm glad to see you all. Remember to thumbs up. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell, make some comments. The more noise you can make on this channel in the positive, the more that it'll appreciate my access to the algorithm will go up. And there are more of you watching. Now, I have no idea all the tricks. I constantly get messages from YouTube. Here's some tricks on how to get a better. I have no idea what they're talking about. Right? I need a crew. Right? I need. As September rolls around, or May, and I'm not quite sure if it's May or September. Whatever it is, May or September rolls around. It'll be 4 years I've done this. Right? And so. There's 17,000 people have watched. There's, close to 500 subscribers. It'd be nice to get a little bit, above 1,000. I think they might shink me on the algorithm. But come on. And you want to get a hold of me, you want to talk to me, the dudeawake42@gmail. Dudeawake42@gmail. And if you are on Gmail. Now, I get anybody's emails, but my documents, my 15 novels that I have, I'd love to send them out to people who like to read stuff and give me kind of insight on how I write. I mean, I went and visited a couple of friends of mine on my BOP here who are retired publishers. And most of them worked like in magazines, they were editors or executive editors or editors-in-chief of magazines like The New Yorker and what's the photographic one? F-Stop or I forgot, but it's like prestigious and a few other Art in America. But these guys are all guys and gals because they weren't all guys. I had a number of friends who worked at Hearst. Actually, Hearst's son I went to prep school with. What was his name? Not Ivan, but something like that. Austin Hearst. So I know a bunch of people in the publishing world, and they've read my stuff, and they said, "Wow, this is amazing," but I don't think it's very sellable. Well, when H.G. Wells, brought his first, he brought Time Machine, and no one, what are you talking about? And this one guy said, "Listen, I'll buy this for £100," which at that day was like getting 10 grand. And so, he was hurting, he was married, about to have a kid. Okay, sure. The guy published it, and it went viral, went totally nuts. And the guy goes, "You got any more of these?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." And so that's how H.G. Wells got where he was. And but all his science fiction, they were very popular. But one book that went unbelievable. I mean, he wrote a book called, you know, History, of All Things or something like that. And, it sold more. That book has been read more than the Bible, right? Now, no one's reading it anymore, but he published it in the 30s, between 30 and 60. It sold more copies than the Bible, right? More people read it than the Bible, meaning read it cover to cover. Most people don't read. They just hold on to their Bible. They have a Bible, I read it all the time because I incorporate it in my writing. I mean, if I'm going to steal something, I might as well steal it from the Bible. And that's not stealing. That's incorporating. That's what I do. I incorporate. So anyway, oh goody. When it hits 3:33, I will say goodbye and go up and do my errands. Otherwise, I love you guys and you stay well. And it's my birthday every second of every moment of every day. And so it's yours too. Remember, conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, I am. Do that all in one breath. Then say, conscious awareness, I am. Conscious awareness, I am. Conscious awareness, I am. Yeah. And that's the story, right? So I'll be right back. I have to go visit the facilities. Might as well do it now. Yeah. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh.
Yeah. That'll satisfy you.
I barely can.
Yeah. Wow. Ice cream too. I had bought Scaro in. They have these. It's a pint size.
Yeah,
And one that's like about as high as that. And then one of those little cups. So it's made of almond milk. And there's only a couple of them. You have to really look in for this. But it's one of the few that doesn't have much saturated fat. It does have fat. And one of those whole, it's about, the whole thing is about 500 calories. It's maybe 18 grams of fat, but almost none of it is saturated. Regular ice cream, has cream, whole milk in it. Or some of these vegetarian that have coconut milk or oil in it. High in saturated. But also the Kroger pastry is the one that comes down across the Taco Bell. They had up there Kroger brand frozen yogurt. The one at Tangler is chocolate milk. The one at Pastry Corner, I guess that's yours over there.
Okay.
And it's not too bad. Not too much. Just a couple grams a second. It's not super high.
Okay, look at that. Here we go. I love you guys. I'll see you in about an hour or two, okay, this afternoon. And I'll tell you more alien Illuminati stories, okay? Catch you later.